Yes, go ahead, jump into a dry riverbed, please. Right, where are we next? The Trump section. Now, the House passed a $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief bill on Thursday as bipartisan negotiations with the Trump administration dragged on, with Democrats moving forward on their legislation in the absence of a deal with Republicans. Now, the vote had earlier been postponed to give the non-Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin more time to agree on an aid package. But those conversations haven't yet yielded a bipartisan agreement. We're still far apart, Mrs. Pelosi said Thursday. Thankfully for that. Anyone who's far away from here as possible is beneficial. And she said, hopefully we can find our common ground on this and do so soon. The best common ground for you, Pelosi, is a cemetery with all the other zombies. So Mrs. Pelosi and Mnuchin spoke multiple times on Thursday, and that is what is known as a NATO chat. No action, talk only. And Pelosi said that she was going to review documents from Mnuchin, but no deal was likely Thursday evening. Now, the legislation passed 214 to 207, with 18 Democrats joining Republicans in opposition to the bill. And the Democrat bill would give money to state and local governments, send another round of stimulus checks to many Americans, reinstate a $600 weekly supplement to unemployment benefits, and give assistance to airlines, restaurants, and performance venues, amongst other measures. Now, the Republicans have panned the bill, giving it no chance of passage in the GOP-controlled Senate. But putting in a bill that had no chance of being passed in the Senate is a further waste of public money, is it not? Well, there I go again, common sense. Oh dear, common sense is breaking out. It's a pandemic. We're all going to die. So after Pelosi put forward her $2.2 trillion plan this week, Mnuchin made a $1.6 trillion counter-offer, an increase from the $1.5 trillion that the administration had previously signalled it could support. And the new offer from Mnuchin included $250 billion in funding for state and local governments, which has been a key disagreement in the talks. The Republicans had earlier offered $150 billion for state and local governments. Now, the Democrats' $2.2 trillion price tag marks a reduction from the $3.5 trillion bill that the House Democrats passed in May. And they're still arguing. Instead, the $915 billion for state and local governments Democrats originally sought, their new bill now seeks $436 billion for localities and municipalities. Common sense question again. Where is this money coming from with the country on shutdown or lockdown? Now, whether the two sides can close the remaining distance, though, is unclear, according to this report, and the White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said Thursday that Pelosi should accept the administration's new offer. It's a good proposal, but it is one she is not interested in. Now, she didn't rule out a further revision of the White House position, but said right now we have the $1.6 trillion number, and I'll let you know if that number goes up, she said. Both the White House and the House Democrats are renewing their attempts to reach a deal as the absence of another stimulus bill is beginning to visibly weigh on the economy. Now, with no new aid in sight, American Airlines Group Inc. and United Airlines Holding Inc. said they would go forward for now with a total of more than 32,000 job cuts. And the government data showed US household income fell sharply in August due to a drop in unemployment benefits. Worker layoffs also remained high. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal expect the September unemployment rate, set to be released Friday, to improve from 8.2% from 8.4% in the prior month. Now, ahead of Thursday's vote, some centrists, Democrats, whatever that means, more BS, word salad games, had pushed for the House to take up a bill to demonstrate action in the weeks before the election. And some Democratic lawmakers said they would join with Republicans on a procedural motion to compel a floor vote on small business aid if House leaders didn't tee up another vote. Isn't that bribery again? In reaching a deal, House Democrats and the Trump administration also face another obstacle. Senate Republicans opposed again doling out money for a major aid package, and many Republicans in the Senate see the economy recovering without additional aid injections and are wary of further deficit spending. Delusional. Also delusional. Now, after a $1 trillion plan from GOP leaders didn't draw broad support in their party last month, Senate Republicans put together a skinny proposal to try to unify their ranks. And that bill, which called for a $300 billion in new funds and repurposing $350 billion in other funds, failed in the Senate when the Democrats blocked it. And the Senate Republicans said they might not be able to support a package as expensive as the one Mr. Munchkin has offered. If the Secretary is over $1.6 trillion, then I think he's out-negotiated his majority in the Senate, according to Roger Wicker. And the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, said he would continue to leave the negotiations to Pelosi and the White House, and said if they can reach an agreement, I'll take a look at it and see whether I can sell that to Senate Republicans. Now, as the election nears, skepticism has grown on Capitol Hill that an agreement is possible at this stage. The time to cut a deal is running out, and the House is slated to leave for a month-long recess at the end of this week, although Ms. Pelosi said that she would hold the House in session and continue to work with the administration. But any deal would have to pass the Senate, which is currently focused on filling a Supreme Court vacancy and planning to recess much of October. And Democratic lawyers are also looking ahead to the election. Former Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, is up in nationwide polls. We all know how reliable they are. And some speculators are favouring the Democrats to win the Senate this time. And then some Democratic lawmakers see the increased potential for an aid package after the inauguration. And Pelosi said, we're getting ready for what comes next, but we need stuff now. Yes, Pelosi, you need more stuff now, like alcohol and adrenochrome. Go away. And one of our THI memes applies now. What happens next? Well, I'll tell you what happens next. Mr. Trump pulled the plug on the bipartisan coronavirus relief talks, putting off all efforts now to get more aid to struggling households and businesses until at least after Election Day. How very nice of him. And that was said to be an abrupt move that jolted Wall Street and surprised lawmakers of both parties. I have instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win, we will pass a major stimulus bill, Mr. Trump wrote on Tuesday. Now, Mr. Trump's tweet appeared to end, at least for now, a long-running effort between Pelosi and Munchkin to reach an agreement on another $1 trillion-plus coronavirus relief deal. Some common sense questions again are in order now. Is that, or could that not be seen as a bribe? Vote for me and you'll get your stimulus. And why do we have to wait after an election? Why do we, the people, always have bills that benefit us delayed or cancelled? And has that much really changed in 4 years of American politics? Trump, like the trustee, and the Q group are all keen on putting forward promises, and yet how many are being delivered to we the people? Clinton and Russian collusion documents declassified this week. Woo! Was all cheered on from the peanut gallery of the Q group. Now, it is a good move by Trump, but it has to be viewed as a rival faction-based at this point. It's not for our benefit. Now, whilst many will jump up and down at this declassification, we at THI will not learn anything of any note about the collusion or the Hillary emails. Nothing. It was fake in 2016, it's fake in 2020. And the only thing different is Hillary is not Hillary anymore. It's Anne. And yeah, whoever that is. And she still walks free amongst us after 4 years. And Trump needs to address we the people. We need jobs, we need investment, we need an end to this fake lockdown and masks, an end to the vaccine programme, we need shelter, we need food, we need to help the homeless, help the poverty-stricken, end the wars, and we need self-sufficiency. We need full-on tax reform, we need sovereignty, we need government overhaul, we need a competent disaster relief programme, and much more. And most of that was handed to him on a plate by the trustee and the team, and none of it to date has been delivered. None. And that, after 4 years in office, is a bad indictment of the government officials, and not just Trump either.